tell us a little bit about the journey up until then.
So, Brian, honestly for me, I am going to start way little back, so bear with me.
Yeah, please do.
So my dad is a byproduct of the partition, right? So born in what is current day, Karachi, was living in what is present day Pakistan, and was about 7 years old when the partition happened, and was one of the people or the families that had to leave with the clothes on their back and then walk across the border, leaving everything that they had, ancestral property, the home that they knew, literally everything. I mean, my grandmother, whatever little jewelry she had, she sewed into my grandfather's socks and stuffed them into his flying boots.
Wow.
So he was a pilot with which is now British Airways, but at that point of time was BOAC. But based out of Karachi. They met when they were my grandmother was in Kenya, so she was Punjabi, but never born in India, born in Kenya. My grandfather was and they met in the United Kingdom, but settled in Karachi, and left it there, thinking that at some point of time they'll come back to the home, and that's where she'll find it. Obviously, they never went back. But they were a family of 9 children, and the parents who moved and stayed in a one little room, apartment or whatever in Delhi at that point of time. And my father, at a very young age, joined the Indian Air Force. He was at the NDA, and then became an Air Force pilot, flew helicopters all his life. At the age of 41, had his first heart attack and was grounded for life. So all the man really knew how to do was to fly. And didn't really have, because he was an NDA product, he didn't really go to university or college or anything, so had no, educational qualifications apart from being a man who had fought 3 wars, for his country in 65, 69, and 71, highly decorated, all of that, but then found himself with 3 kids, the youngest being 3 years old, with no job, grounded for life, didn't want to stay in the Air Force because he knew that it would kill him if he sat at a desk and he wasn't able to fly. And we moved at that point of time. We were based in the Hindon Air Force Station, which is just outside of Delhi, and 1981. And we moved to Bangalore, which was at that point of time retirement paradise,
right.
But it was also a city that was kind of growing and emerging. And my grandparents used to live there, my mother's parents. They're of mixed, they're not Indian, but also mixed heritage. My grandmother's half German, half British. My grandfather's half Swedish, half Scottish. When the partition and when the British left India, they decided and chose to give up their British passports and adopt Indian passports and continue to live in India. So my father, in all intents and purposes, married the Gora Mem Sahib, basically. But yeah, so we moved to Bangalore in 1981. I was 3 years old, and my dad had no job. And so life was pretty hard, pretty difficult, pretty tough. I have 2 older sisters, so there are 3 of us. We're 10 and 6 years apart from each other. And, we kind of grew up in an environment where I wouldn't say, I'm not going to make it a sob story and say life is tough, because it wasn't. In comparison to what I see today, it wasn't tough, but it was challenging, yes. And my dad got very lucky. He kind of, after about 2 or 3 years, was offered a job opportunity with Hindustan Aeronautics. So he got back doing what he did, which was aviation, but at least outside of the Air Force. But my dad was 60 years old by the time he finally was able to put down a brick in the soil and have a permanent address that he called home.
Wow.
So 60 years old. So for the longest time ever, almost all his life, the man always had either an Air Force address or an address from a company that provided him accommodation. So for him, for somebody who is, and you will understand this if you live through that partition, that at the age of 60 to finally have some place that you call home was massive. But in the meantime, it gave us an opportunity where we traveled around so much that as kids growing up, you had, I today look at it as a pro, because we traveled constantly. We were adapting to absolutely new states, new cultures, new friends, new schools, constantly. And when people ask us what gives service kids a little bit of an edge over other civilian kids, I think that is what it is. It's the fact and the aspect that you travel around so much constantly, that you're constantly adapting, you're constantly finding ways to connect to people, make new friends, do all of that. So 16 years old in Bangalore, in my 11th standard, my sister apparently saw an ad in a newspaper for the Glad Rags supermodel contest. took the most horrific photographs of me. I wasn't even 16 then, I was 15 at that point of time. Sent them in to Maureen Wadia in Bombay. And I still remember, it was summer vacation. I was sitting at home. My mother gets a phone call. And she says, oh, we know we're calling from the Glad Rags organization and Lara's been selected for the Bangalore finals or I don't know what. And, and my mother was like, what? Who's this? So it was like, and all I heard was that the contest was going to be held in Bombay. I had never been to Bombay in my life. So I pleaded and cried, please, Mama, if nothing else, I just want to go. It's a holiday. They're taking me for 2 weeks. It's going to be an all-paid vacation. I want to go. And that's where it actually started up from. So I went into the Bangalore, selections, blah, blah, blah. I got selected to come for the finals into Mumbai. Won that. I was 16. I was going into my 12th grade. My mother almost had a heart attack. So she was like, come what may, you are sitting for 12 board exams, which I did. And then finally, when I finished my 12th, I moved and I came to Mumbai and I did my degree and things like that. But I think for me, Ryan, more than anything else, it kind of created a hunger. I wanted to do something that made, more than anybody else, my dad really proud.